welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, your go-to sports podcast featuring great content, conversation, and your occasional disagreement. Stick around to interact and ask questions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Good morning, one and all. Week 3, Sports Box Sunday NFL pregame. Myself, Tony Quigley will be on, I think, at some point. Anthony Medio, Drew Trammell, who you just saw on the Blitz just before our show. So, guys, we're starting to see some teams start to separate themselves a bit. Teams kind of fall away from the pack a little bit. We'll definitely talk about that. We will get started with the Thursday night game as the New York Jets essentially dismantled the New England Patriots 24-3. Aaron Rodgers looked a little bit like Aaron Rodgers, 27-35, 281, 2 touchdowns. Braylon Allen, who probably could have been a Dallas Cowboy if they had a pick in that round, 11 for 55. Breece Hall got in the end zone. Allen Lazard's having a resurgence this year now that he's actually healthy, and so is Aaron Rodgers. And Drake Maye made his debut in the fourth quarter to, not a lot of positivity there. General thoughts on the game, and also what do you think New England should be doing at quarterback? Should it be Brissett? Should it be May?
It should definitely be Brissett. I mean, there's no issues about this whatsoever. Did you not see that man get annihilated the entire game? It's like watching the white version of Caleb Williams right now. It's that whole line is terrible in New England. It's probably one of the worst. And why would you put a rookie back there? We saw it when he got in there with I think 3 minutes to go. The man got hit 4 times, Brian. Why would I want to put a rookie in there for the entire duration of a game? This game was a disaster. New England showed a lot of heart week 1, and I think it's more about the Cincinnati Bengals being an overrated team than it is about New England being a good team. Cincinnati is just not a good team. And so we'll see what they do tomorrow. But overall, this is a great game for Aaron Rodgers to bounce back. This might be a second coming for him as a quarterback. This might be the final sunset ride, because even after the game was done, watching that game, he looked great. He was extending the play. He ran more than I ever thought that he would ever in a game after coming off a torn Achilles, being 40 years old. But there's honestly, when I sit back, guys, and I watch that game Thursday night, I might make a bold statement. It might not be bold, but I'm going to say a bold statement. I think Aaron Rodgers, when he's done, I think he has the most powerful arm from a throwing standpoint I have ever seen in my life. I didn't watch Dan Fouts. I didn't get to watch the guys from old, but for me, watching just his mechanics and how he is and how that boy just flips the ball, and it's right there. The Garrett Wilson's, it's right there, dude. I admire watching it, but overall, man, it's a game the Jets needed, Brian, and we'll see moving forward what's it going to be like. But I'm interested to hear what Ann has to say, because that first week, man, it really was fool's gold with Cincinnati. If Cincinnati struggles tomorrow, I think that's a bigger topic if they don't win that game against the Commanders. So,
yeah, Drew, I mean, as far as the Drake Maye, I agree with you. I think you're kind of setting them up for failure right now if you throw him in the fire right there. They're just not a good team right now. And that was expected. I mean, it's a little more different in Chicago. But as far as Drake Maye, I mean, I think right now you just keep him behind Brissett. Yeah, and you bring them in when you can. But right now, yeah, that's just setting over for failure. Team's not good. Game kind of went as I expected. I expected the Jets D to come out and play a lot better, especially against this inept offense. Didn't see much going on. As I stated earlier before the season started, I think the Jets are contenders in the AFC, and I think it's really they can only go up. Rodgers looked better, looked healthier, moving around, throwing on the run. I think that'll improve throughout the season, and their defense has always been there. So, game kind of went as I expected, and I think the Jets are going to, like I said, going to be a legit threat.
I mean, I think the Jets win the division. That was my pick. I'm going to stick by it. But I will say this. I mean, these 2 wins have come against Will Levis and Jacoby Brissett,
Sure,
right? So,
sure.
you know,
Yeah,
you can make
1,000%.
the same case both ways. Like, you know, did you expect them to beat the Niners? Probably not. I think you could probably expect them to look a little bit better in that game, but it was Aaron Rodgers' first real game back in a long time. So whatever. It's I just don't think you don't really know enough yet, right? Like, I mean, you're doing what you should be doing, right? I need you to do something that you're not expected to do. I need you to go beat, I don't know who's on their schedule, but go beat, let's see how you play against Buffalo. Like that'll be the barometer for me as to where you are, you know, in this whole thing. As far as New England at quarterback, I think it should be Brissett for a different reason than you all think. I think Drake Maye is the much better quarterback, and I'm trying to lose games this year. So, like, to me, like, that's why I leave Jacoby Brissett in, because I'm trying to get a high pick. You know, we had this discussion in a group chat that I'm in. I'm like, you know, I can make a coaching case I should have never drafted Maye. They should have drafted something else and then got a high pick and then taken the quarterback next year. Because if you're not going to play him this year, you're kind of just wasting a year anyway, which is fine, but it's not ideal, right? You're still in that tank mode. You're really not in a contention mode. So there's a thought process behind waiting from that standpoint. Yeah, I mean, again, I just don't think you can say enough. You don't really know what the Jets are yet.
Finding another running back in Allen, I mean, that boosts the offense. I mean, it gives them another weapon, which is a strong running back. So they're fine. And like you said, Lazard's coming along. That's Aaron Rodgers' boy. You know, he brought him along. So they have a good rapport. So
Allen's an absolute beast, and it makes you wonder what all these other teams are looking at because, I mean, Dallas alone would love to have him in the third or fourth round.
Yeah, but Drew, he doesn't perform like that without Aaron Rodgers. I truly don't believe any. I think just him and Rodgers had that rapport. They've always had it. And I think with Rodgers,
no, Braylon Allen or Alan Lazard?
I'm talking Lazard.
Oh no,
I'm talking Braylon Allen. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, we got him mixed up there.
Oh, Alan Lazard, yeah, you could tell there's instant chemistry with A-Rod. They could just look at each other. I mean, just a hike in the throw right away. I mean, it's automatic for those two. It's crazy.
Yeah. Josh Allen said Aaron Rodgers is, and I quote, the most gifted thrower of the football of all time.
He is. I think he is.
Listen, we had a game-winning drive debate, or maybe it was the NFL draft. We were talking about top 5. He's my number 1, or number 2, actually, behind Peyton Manning.
In what?
The most talented quarterbacks of all time.
Oh, talented quarterbacks of all time. Oh, yeah. I don't want to argue with you on that.
Okay. Well, we go from one extreme to the other. The Carolina Panthers have benched quarterback Bryce Young, a 2023 first overall pick. He is reportedly getting multiple trade inquiries from other teams. You're hearing today that they intend to go back to him at some point later in the year. You know, this is, again, an example of why continuity or lack thereof can be a serious problem with young quarterbacks, right? Because you can say Bryce Young is short. He has talent. He's been dropped into possibly the worst situation of all time. It is exacerbated by the fact that the Carolina Panthers paid a very high price to move up to go get him, and the guy that went second is playing a lot better. Also in a better situation, to be fair. I don't know what you do. I mean, that team is as big a dumpster fire as I've seen in a very long time in the league, and I don't think you can expect Bryce Young to be good on that team.
No.
Same way you really can't expect Drake Maye to be that good in New England, right? There's correlations here. I don't know. David Tepper is not – he's a hands-on owner. He's a Wall Street guy, so I know him from my line of work. I don't know him personally. I'm saying I know of him from my line of work. Great investor, obviously. But the question becomes, you don't know much about football, obviously, because you're expecting this thing to turn around on a dime, and that's not going to happen. But how can you tell him it can't when Houston did it?
You want me to go?
Go ahead, Drew. Yeah.
Mine's going to be a bunch of word salad, dude. It's just going to be – I have a bunch of issues with everything. First and foremost, there should be absolutely no trade request I wouldn't even take unless it's a ridiculous offer that comes to the same breadth of what I offered for Bryce Young. If it's not that, then I'm not trading him. Secondly, I think this whole situation that they did with Bryce Young was absolutely crap. It's the reason why Carolina has been shit for years. And it's the reason why that they'll never figure it out, because they don't know how to develop. They haven't been able to know how to develop in a long time. When's the last time that we had a good quarterback in Carolina? And I know this is an argument for sports box, but regardless of the fact, Cam Newton, when under the tutelage of what he was under, he was able to use his athleticism. They brought in good OCs to work around his strengths, and they had a good development of receivers to be able to come in and be able to make him feel comfortable. Most notably, Steve Smith, who obviously should be a Hall of Famer, and Greg Olson. 2 guys, 2 leaders to help him. And then when they drafted CMC, they protected him. They knew what they needed to do with him. They had good coaching. They had a good GM. I forgot who the owner was before. But now you bring in Tepper, who throws drinks at people because he gets all butthurt. And then you have a head coach who's new, that's never been a head coach before, but we're so high on him because he's the quarterback guru. He changed the life of Geno Smith, and he's changed the life of Baker Mayfield, who's absolutely balling right now in Tampa Bay. So you have those 2 guys, and then you go to Carolina, and what do? You trade away your future for Bryce Young. This is a situation where I tend to agree with Brian, where it comes to the fact where is a quarterback like him, who already has deficiencies of being short, has deficiencies of grasping an offense, because there was reports in Alabama where he struggled understanding the offense of one of his biggest knacks coming out of Alabama. And then you have the issue of doesn't really have the Kyler Murray type of speed to overcome the inefficiencies of him not being able to look over the offensive line. He's not Drew Brees. I'm sick and tired of people comparing short guys to Drew Brees. Drew Brees is one of a kind. That's why he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game, because he was able to figure out how to throw without looking. That's not the case for every freaking quarterback, dude. And we got to stop doing this. The final thing I would say is Carolina as a team, it's dumpster fire. It's trash. You traded all these players for nothing. You got 0 on the return. You got pennies on the dollar. You did not do your due diligence to be able to make this team better on making trades. Right now, you could have kept CMC. You could have kept DJ Moore. You could have kept
Burns.
a plethora. Burns. Could have kept a plethora of guys if you would have developed right, and you didn't. You didn't fix the offensive line. You went and got Deontay Johnson, who's not going to do anything for you as a receiver, and besides catching 9 routes, and that's if he catches it. And you don't have a presence in the running game whatsoever. The defense, you got J.C. Horn, and that's it. There's really nothing else you can really highlight on that defense. It's abysmal. This kid was set up for failure. I'm not going to say he's a bust. I think it's ridiculous that people are saying he's a bust. Look at the situation he is. Now, I will say this. Last week against the Chargers is my final thing. The offensive line was graded high. He was making bad decisions. You know why he's making bad decisions? Because his confidence is completely gone.
Yep.
That first play against New Orleans was a pick. That your whole offseason you worked hard building this confidence. It's a new system for him under Dave Canales, and then you throw a pick the first passing play. That's an issue. Why not throw a screen? Why not build the confidence up a little bit for this young man who's already been who already has been so just jacked up for the first season. Now you're going to go and do this to him. It's not a pity part for him, but it's a situation where, Brian, sometimes wherever you're drafted, it's a benefit to be able to sit back with the freaking clipboard and learn the game like Jordan Love did for 3 years. And like Tom Brady said a couple weeks ago in Stephen A. podcast, these players need to develop more instead of just throwing them into the fire, because most players can't deal with it. So, yeah, sorry, that's a lot, but I just have a lot of issues with it.
Yeah, I mean, Drew pretty much hit it on the nail there. I mean, it's just an organization that's a disaster. It just seems like they don't have the right vision of going forward with this guy. I mean, what 18-game sample, 19-game sample? I mean, is that really enough? I'm not really sure what he was given. Yeah, I mean, it isn't good flopping back and forth. I'm not a fan of that. I mean, if you're gonna draft him, you're gonna play him. leave him in there. I mean, there's no point now. You're going to bring him back. Like Drew said, his confidence is already broken. So, not good. This is not good for Carolina, and the Bears benefited off the shitty organization.
But listen,
Brian, can I ask you a question? I want to ask you a question from a hockey perspective. Okay, and I'll try to bring this into terms.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be pissed if you guys got, I don't know how it works, draft a rookie or whatever it is in the NHL, right? He doesn't do good and you bench him. Would you be pissed as a fan that Bryce Young was pissed off that he got sat, he had to sit? That shouldn't piss off anybody, bro. You should not be pissed off if you are told to sit and then he's pissed off about it. That should make you happy as a fan, knowing that he's out to be good. Holy cow. That's it. So yeah. So
I'm gonna mute out because there's some background noise that I hear back there. Yeah. So, but hockey's very different, right? Like when kids come in, they come in at 18, 19, and they're expected to develop for, like, very rarely do you get the generational talent that comes in and just takes over immediately. There's Sidney Crosby's, things like that. So like the Rangers had one named Alexis Lafreniere, who they got in 2020 in the draft. They won the lottery to get that pick. It's taken him a while, but now he is starting to assert himself as a legitimate player. That can happen, right? You draft him more on potential than you are on anything else. The problem with Bryce Young is, and Daniel's comment is dead on. You have no idea what he is. You have no clue what he can do because he is in the worst situation you can imagine. And where you get drafted to matters. You know, we had this conversation about, you know, and Alex can comment on this, quarterbacks that went to the Browns for so many years, went to bad situations, and you don't necessarily know that they could never have turned into something, but their development was just stunted and destroyed from the jump, and they never turned into anybody after that. Baker is an example of a guy who kind of went around the league after he left Cleveland, ended up in Tampa, and now seems to be flourishing. But you can make a list of Cleveland Browns quarterbacks that just, they were not developed well. The talent may have been there, it just, they never brought it out of him. Right.
Brian, if you put the list between my team and Alex's team's quarterbacks, there's like 90 guys together probably that's been part of this organization. At least 90 quarterbacks if you put our list together.
Alex, your thoughts on Bryce Young?
Quarterback hell.
We discussed it on Game Winning Drive. I think you can't really judge him on what has happened since he's been in the NFL with the Panthers, right? To me, they're the worst run organization, period, in the NFL. And that's saying a lot, right? They continue to put the cart before the horse, right? How are you going to have a quarterback be successful with no weapons, no offensive line, no real defense, a different coaching staff every year, changing schemes, not really taking into account what he was successful with in college and designing a scheme around him that makes sense? All of it is like I said, they're the worst run organization there is in the NFL currently, and that's saying a lot. Like I said, I just don't know he'll probably be a Sam Darnold is a perfect example, right? Like Sam Darnold looks like a quarterback, right? He's in a system that works for him. He's in a system that works for him. He has talent around him, a scheme that makes sense on defense. They are a well-balanced offense. I think maybe 2-3 years from now, you'll see Bryce Young do that, right?
It's Blair Kelly giving the over in today's Saints Eagles game for sure. I mean, and the teams, I think it says something that teams are interested in going after him right now. Like, you know who I think would be a team that's a perfect fit? The New York Giants. Like a team where you may not want to go draft somebody else. Like maybe you want to you want to buy somebody in the cheap and give it a shot, like depending on what the price is, right?
Yeah.
Drew, to your point, are they going to get a Bears offer for that? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen.
No.
Now it's damaged goods. Like you're buying a reclamation project, right? So when you think of what Josh Rosen was traded for a couple years ago, it was a second-round pick. But that tells you how quarterbacks are valued in the league. Now he never turned into anything regardless, but people take that shot, right? I was talking last week about how NFL general managers fall over themselves to overdraft quarterbacks because if you hit, you're great. And if you don't, you're getting fired anyway. So someone will take a shot on Bryce Young if he's made available. If I'm Carolina, I can't possibly make him available, but I also don't have any other way to fix this. Like, this is a long way to go. It depends what you're trying to do. Are you trying to be long-term competitive, or are you trying to be short-term, try to sell some tickets because their stadium looks like an AEW show, nobody goes. So
this is why I've always said, if you don't have a good foundation at your team currently, like you just said 15 minutes ago, this is a perfect situation why you should go and get a free agent veteran quarterback and build the interior and the exterior on your teams and not draft a rookie. Because, and you picked the wrong New York team, the Jets should be the one that go and trade for Bryce Young, because the toolage that he can learn underneath Aaron Rodgers, or go to the Rams and learn underneath Matthew Stafford for 2 years, 3 years, how long he wants to play. Learn, because that confidence is shot. So,
in my opinion, the Miami Dolphins is a perfect landing spot for him.
That's another one.
That makes some sense.
To be honest with you, like, they brought in a veteran. Tua's going to be done. They just haven't announced it yet. He has to be. I don't see how you can put him back on the field with a clean conscience and let him, die on the field.
We'll find out week 9.
Or become a vegetable. I mean, that's really what you're playing Russian roulette there. You got a veteran that you signed. I think you bring in Bryce Young. You let him sit this year, and then you see what you got next year out of him. Like, that offense is too talented for him not to be successful. So,
Brian, you're never going to get a rookie quarterback to develop if he only plays 2 series in the entire preseason.
Sure, absolutely. No, I mean, everything they do is wrong. But it goes back to my point from before, where people love to attack me because of my view on this. Tanking works. If Carolina just lost a bunch of games and picked Bryce Young on their own and didn't give up that package to the Bears and were able to just use those picks to build around, you're in a much better spot. Go back to the 49ers. You gave up 3 number ones for Trey Lance. If you just lose a couple more games in a down year, you get it on your own. Like, these games just don't matter. I don't care what anybody's going to tell me. You are just better off losing, getting the pick on your own, and keeping your resources.
That Trey Lance was just a bad trade overall.
Well, he didn't work out. I'm not saying he did. What I'm saying is, you can't give up that draft capital. It's too valuable.
No, sets you back.
No, I agree with you. In my opinion, like, Deshaun Watson is done, right? So, in my opinion, I would love for the Browns to sit him and us lose as many games as possible so we can draft a rookie contract and just leave him on the bench collecting all that stupid money that we paid him to begin with, and just wait until we have the team now. We need a quarterback.
Do they have
He's
their
clearly
pick
not the guy. So
yeah, they do.
This is our first year. We have our first round.
Yeah, it's the first year.
Okay. I wasn't sure how long that went.
Yeah.
We're talking
about 3 years.
It's been a while, right? So again, we had to talk last week about quarterback development, lack thereof in the league. Week 2 last week saw an NFL record 73 field goals made, which was just higher than the 69 that was made in week 15 of 2016. The third highest, week 1 of this year at 68. There's lots of defenses now playing 2 high safeties. You have Mel Kiper on ESPN programming calling for rule changes. So I want to talk this through. Again,
I told you that.
But this all... They're using too high to take away the big play. And obviously the way to attack this is to run the football. Very simply, right? Use a running back to run the football. But it kind of also goes into the fact that I've been making this case for a while, which Tom Brady agreed with. They're not developing quarterbacks in college anymore. This is the result of NIL money and everything else, is they got to try to win now. So they're taking path of least resistance, make the quarterback run the ball, very simple offenses. Guys can't necessarily read defense when they get to the NFL. They're just not developed. And Tom Brady said basically that in other words. So I kind of want your thoughts on this. The idea of changing the rules a little bit off kilter, right? I mean, they've been playing too high for the longest time. It's just the quarterbacks now can't beat it. Brady used to beat it with regularity. That's what Brady did. He'd find the soft spot. He'd get his receiver there. That's what reading a defense and talent will do. Now, not so much. And I think that this is also a reason you're seeing more quarterbacks run, because they can't get an open pass, because these guys are just not letting them get beat deep.
You want me to start? It's I can't think of his name right now. The guy that's on ESPN, the black dude. He said
Herbert's active.
Good. He said a couple of days ago. I can't think of his name. I wish I knew his name. I'm drawing a blank. But
hey, Mercury Morris passed away.
I don't know who that is.
From the undefeated Dolphins.
Wasn't even born. The tides of the game is changing offensively. He said, running is becoming more of an effective thing from a running back standpoint. And I think we're going to see that in the next couple of years. The tides are changing. It's going to be a lot more of a running game. But even that being said, dude, these quarterbacks, we talked about it on Game Winning Drive. Alex hit it right on the head. Is the lack of development at the college level and a lack of development when you come into the NFL. Preseason matters. To build the chemistry with your players matter in real game life situations. You cannot sit these guys anymore. It's time to play to get the rust off. It's pretty simple. And let me tell you something else. Mel Kiper is the biggest idiot to ever exist in the game of football. If there's ever a guy that is a personal, not personal, but I can't say the word. He irritates the shit out of me, dude. He reminds me of those dudes that in the corner that thinks he's smart, that had a calculator on his pocket right here and had 3 pins and thought that he knew something because he knows how to do drafts and all this. When has he ever been right? Honestly, he's dog shit, and I just can't stand him. He annoys the shit. I like the other guy better that was drunk on TV and got fired. That guy was better than this dude. I can't stand Kiper. I can't stand what he does. That I'll never forget him and John Gruden. And it's just it's annoying. And I'm to get rid of a too high defense because why? Because you don't see offensive production. That's on the team. Why are you? The offense gets more than enough than it already is in the NFL. You can barely touch a player when he's throwing the ball. Now we want to go and take that and get that away from the defense. I'm so sick and tired of the game changing. The game was fine the way it was. Stop changing shit, just like the shift. The shift that never should have been banned in the MLB. But we want to cater to offenses because we're a bunch of freaking pussy-ass generation, and I can't stand it. Sorry, Brian. I'm cussing. I can't stand it. It annoys the shit out of me.
We're not on television. We're fine.
We should be. It's annoying. I can't stand it. I cannot stand ESPN and them putting on this liberal logic. It's annoying. It's just so annoying. Adjust to the defense to be better. Adjust the defense to be better. Like you said, Brian, find a soft spot and the cover too high. And does anybody even know what a cover too high means? We don't want to explain it. Too high safeties in the back. It's mostly for speedy receivers. So what do? Ins and outs across the middle. Ins and outs across the middle. It's that simple. Find the coverage, find the weak spot, learn how to choice routes, whatever you want to do it, hit it, and repeat it over and over again, or run the damn ball. It's that simple.
It's
that simple.
It's Tampa too. Tony Dungy was famous on this. This is not new. The Bucs were running this 20 years ago. Not new.
Someone bring back Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler? Love Jay Cutler. Smoking Jay.
First of all, hold on, wait. Do I have it? I do.
Jay. Jay Cutler had a stronger arm than Aaron Rodgers. Just to let you know. Just not as accurate.
Ant thoughts?
I disagree with that.
Anybody else thoughts on this?
Yeah, the change in to change the rules to even entertain that is kind of ridiculous. It's not really a game if you're not trying to take your opponent strengths away. They just Mel just misses seeing the long ball, and I miss it too, but it really shows in the production this year. Totals are down even on the betting lines. I mean, you're not seeing numbers touching 50, numbers touching 47, like all low digits. So running game's back, unders are back, taking all the excitement out of the NFL, but you can't change the rules.
Well, let's also think about it like this too. We're blaming the quarterbacks and players and stuff, but this is defensive coaches adjusting to offensive play calling in this NFL, right? So they got too reliant on double moves and long ball, and so now they've just adjusted it to where it's like the shift in baseball. Well, I'll just run a too high safety, and then you're not designing anything that's new and creative, all these supposed geniuses in offense. So it works. So change your playbook, adjust to the defensive play calling, and run some slants, run some quick out, things like that to bring that second safety down into the box or down. And then you can hit a deep shot. Like it's simple things that are, plaguing these supposed geniuses of, offense now, which is funny to me.
You're seeing a lot of double-digit drives, a lot more double digits, taking teams dinking, dunking down there, 10, 12 plays, and then sometimes settling for a field goal. You're seeing all these teams settle because when that field shrinks down, they're not getting in the end zone. So, it's a lot of factors going on.
I mean, wouldn't the West Coast offense be really good here? Just short, intermediate, middle of the field.
Well, you need
linebackers.
You need quarterbacks to run that, Brian.
Oh, you do you? Oh, that's
Spider 2, Wide Banana, whatever Gruden's running.
They're saying the Temple kicker hit a 63-yarder at the link. These kickers are just getting too good. Well, that does have an effect too. But I mean, you do see teams taking those high 50, low 60 shots now.
Yeah, 50s are the new 40s.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'm glad that Chris Wilson just joined the show. So I don't know about you. I laughed my ass off Monday night.
Oh, really?
I could not help myself. I was texting everyone. I wasn't even watching that game until the end. But I just want to talk this through. So the Eagles are 3rd and 3 on the Falcons' 10-yard line. There's a minute 46 left, and they try a pass play. Now, granted, it was open. He dropped the ball. That's fine. It would have worked. However, if you just run the ball there, and if you get 2 yards, run it again on 4th down, you're probably going to win the game. And if you don't, Atlanta's got the ball with 40 seconds left? They're not even playing for a touchdown. They're playing for the field goal to tie the game, which is not the worst thing in the world. Okay? When you're down 6, you can't play for a field goal. You have to go for the touchdown, and the touchdown beats you. It doesn't go to a tie. So in the chess game, I think it was the wrong play call. Admittedly, it was there. That doesn't mean it was the right play call. I don't think the logic was correct, and I'm not sure what Nick Sirianni does other than put white stuff up his nose. Floor is yours.
I like the play call. I think it was to just end the game. Atlanta was expecting playing the run. It was the perfect play call, not executed by your star player. Plain and simple. He dropped the ball. He's got to catch the ball. You got to win the game. I've heard it all week. I'm okay with the play. Thought it was a good play call. I really do.
Listen, we talked about it on Wednesday. Me and Alex talked about it extensively. 9 out of 10 times Saquon Barkley's catching that ball. It's that simple. It's the right play call. You're going for broke, and you are going for the win. That's what I was taught all my life in football. We go for the win. We go what makes the most sense, and that play call was the right call. He was wide open on the flat. He catches that ball, Brian. It's game over. It's game over. And then you don't have to play the what-if scenario with a field goal and wasting time in this snap, because who's to say Kirk wouldn't dice up that defense with 40 seconds left, because he did. Diced them up. Philly secondary is absolutely trash.
I'm not disputing that, though. But hold on. But if you're down 3, you're not trying to score a touchdown. That changes the entire dynamic of that offense. When you have no time, let's say you have 40 seconds, a minute with no timeouts, a minute. You're just trying to get into field goal range. Your offense is completely different in that situation than if you must get in the end zone. You're probably not taking that many deep shots. You're just trying to get to the other team's 40-yard line to give your kicker a shot to tie the game.
They would play the same defense that they would play with 40 seconds left. It's a prevent defense. So they're still going to get diced up regardless of the time. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the fact that Saquon Barkley didn't catch the ball. And I picked the damn Eagles for my survivor pick, so I don't want to talk about this anymore. Me and Alex talked about
That's why he's upset.
That's why I'm upset about it. I really care less about the game. The freaking guys, just catch the ball. It's a first down. It's that simple. Kellen Moore made the right play call. It's the right call. It's the fact that he just didn't catch the ball. He catches the ball. We're not talking about this. So it's if David Tyree doesn't catch the ball, Eli Manning wouldn't even be in the freaking Hall of Fame. So it's that simple. It's just it pisses me off. Slay was getting worked. Did you guys see that last play when they scored the touchdown?
Listen,
Slay didn't know where to go.
I'm not surprised.
No, Darius Slay is an overrated piece of shit. I am sorry. He can't cover.
He honestly hasn't been good for 2. He hasn't been good for 2 years.
All he gives up is big plays.
Big play Slay.
The Nick Sirianni is a fraud. Is 1,000% the comment of the day.
Oh yeah,
because it is. He should not even be a coach.
I don't know how he's not.
No, listen, I'm excited. Let him stay there as long as possible. It gives us great hot takes. It gives great comedy, and it gives Eagles fans heartburn and headaches. I'm fine with it. It's all good for me, all of it.
Austin's in New Orleans today.
Oh yeah,
watch the game.
It's gonna be a long flight home, I think.
Oh yeah, he's hating it.
New Orleans is cooking, man.
Oh yeah.
Two sides of the coin before we get to the games today. Number one, there are 9 teams in the league that can go to 3-0 today. Those teams include the Steelers, the Bills, the Bucks, the Texans, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Saints, the Seahawks, and the Chiefs. From that list, who stands out to you as contenders versus pretenders? Who are your biggest surprises? I think Drew has his biggest surprise right now. If he wants to give it, you can go ahead.
My biggest surprise right now?
Yeah.
It's the Chargers.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
They should be 0-2.
I thought they would have lost the game against the Raiders.
They should have been 0-2. They should have lost both.
Never had any doubt last week. I knew they were going to win that game last week, but
they're terrible.
Now that Herbert is playing, I definitely have them winning today against Pittsburgh. So we'll talk about that later. Besides the Chargers, a pretender for me, looking at is Pittsburgh. I think they're pretenders after the season is done. No offensive identity whatsoever. Justin Fields still relying on his legs. That's going to eventually be figured out. And I just. It's a weird 3 weeks or 2 weeks so far. But you can make the argument about New Orleans being a surprise, but I think New Orleans and Tampa Bay might be doing this till the end of the season because the South looks absolutely disgusting, but those two teams are killing it. It's a lot. It's what I like about the NFL is a lot of parity. It's a lot of balance.
I actually hate that.
I love it. I love it. So
I hate that. I don't know. I appreciate greatness when I see it. I hate that there's not that much of it.
Oh yeah, well there's parity in the regular season, but there's usually the one team that has been coming out ahead of everybody. So there's obviously 2 contenders in there, maybe 3. Kansas City, obviously Houston, possibly Buffalo. I think a little bit of surprise to me is Seattle. I think they have a sneaky good defense. So if they could keep it up offensively, I think Seattle might be able to hang around. Pittsburgh, I don't know. Justin Fields, we'll see. But yeah, as far as surprise, I think Seattle actually. I really do. I think they got a sneaky defense and they could cause problems.
For me, it's Minnesota. Really, this to me was tankier. This was, we drafted our quarterback. He's not even playing. This doesn't even matter. But they're 2-0. And it's not so much that they've beaten. I mean, they beat the Giants. Okay. I think the four of us could probably do that. But they did beat the Niners, right? So, like, that in and of itself is impressive no matter how you slice it. Which, if I recall correctly, they beat the Niners a year ago or 2 years ago, too, in a very similar situation, which was just kind of odd, I guess. The surprise is, I mean, they're number one. Pittsburgh is just a fraud. I mean, that's going to fall apart, right? I mean, that's just, you can't win. I mean, look, their defense is legit as legit can be. You can't win with Justin Fields or Russell Wilson at quarterback. You just can't. Like, that's not going to work. And honestly, I've made this case before. They would be so better off losing games. Like this, they are literally just kicking them. They are literally kicking themselves in the dick right now. I just don't get it, right? I just, I mean, the Chiefs should be there. I mean, look, the Saints, fine. That's whatever. Seattle, I don't know. They're better than I thought they would be. Look, I mean, the Chargers have had a bit of a weak start to the season. Again, they played some less great. Exactly. What they're supposed to do. So you really don't know what to make of them. It's fine. I just think of this list. Pittsburgh will fall off. Minnesota will probably fall off. We'll see where the Chargers end up, out of respect to my boy.
You watch your damn mouth.
That's I just said I was out of respect to my boy. I'm sorry. Alex.
Yeah. Chargers are a big surprise for me for sure. I think Minnesota, we kind of talked about in our preseason show. I think Minnesota is going to be good this year. We thought Seattle's defense was going to be a top-ranked thing. Obviously, Kansas City we know about. Houston, we expected them to build, especially adding Stephon Diggs and a couple pieces on defense. Tampa Bay's honestly a surprise for me. I thought that Baker would come back down to earth, but he's actually playing well. I cannot knock him for his play right now, but Baker's going to be Baker, so he'll figure out a way to fuck it up.
Oh my God!
I think Pittsburgh is going to beat the Chargers by 3 touchdowns this week. Chargers are pretenders for sure. It's the Harbaugh effect. He's got him in there rah-rahing, but rah-rah only gets you so far without talent.
This is what NFL fans need to wrap their heads around. It doesn't matter if you make the playoffs cosmetically and get bounced. It doesn't matter.
No.
Well, to be fair though, the Pittsburgh Steelers have limped into the playoffs because other teams have gotten hurt or can't finish it. It's not like really entirely Pittsburgh's fault. They
won 10 games last year. For what? For what?
You got to play to win, Brian. You can't just tell guys not to play.
Drew,
that's weird logic.
I think it's fun when your team's in the playoffs.
Playing to win longer term is losing in the short term.
But how do you legitimately
Super Bowl with a Cinderella run?
How do you go into a locker room with legit top 10%ers in the world, right? Because that's what these guys are. They're all freak athletes, right?
Yeah.
How do you go in that room and you say, "Hey boys, our game plan is to lose this year so that we can get a franchise quarterback on a good deal"? They're all going to look at you like you're an idiot and request immediate trades. But and then where's your franchise at?
But again,
Daniel was being sarcastic.
What Carolina did was right in theory and wrong in execution. They didn't get enough back for what they sold off, right?
But Carolina cannot be your example.
No.
Because it's bad management.
That's an example of how not to do it correctly. In other sports, you do it all the time. You buy when you're about there, you sell when you're teeling off, and then you rebuild. In hockey, it's all the time. There's cycles to sports. You can't be good every year. Unless you have elite Hall of Famers like the Chiefs. At some point, they will go into rebuild too. That's
the Patriots or
the Chiefs,
the Colts. Or
we could have a discussion for this for 4 hours.
Well, let's flip it. Let's flip the switch. Since 1979, there have been 6 teams that have been 0-3 to start. The dial, whatever. It's 11:47 here. Okay, relax. Let's turn the dial. I was drinking last night. That was a very good margarita that I had. 16 make the playoffs after an 0-3 start. Since 2000, just the Texans 5 years ago. The 0-2 team staring 0-3 in the face. the Broncos, the Ravens, the Colts, the Bengals, the Panthers, the Titans, the Giants, the Rams, and the Jaguars. When you look at this list, who can turn it around?
There's only 2 teams on
And
this
who
list.
stunk? Who are your biggest disappointments?
There's only 2 teams on this list. It's Baltimore and Cincinnati. Indiana's a year or 2 away. The Giants have no hope with Daniel Jones as their quarterback. The Rams have too many injuries. The Prince of Promise was a bum. I told you he was a bum when he got drafted, and now finally people are starting to understand in Jacksonville. Tennessee.
I was like, wait a minute. I thought you were going somewhere
Tennessee picked the wrong quarterback. I think that if they had their backup starting, they'd probably be in better shape. And Bo Nix is what everybody else thought Bo Nix was. He tricked me. I thought he was going to be decent, and he's not. Like there's there's literally Baltimore and Cincinnati. Who else? Where was I wrong? Like all these things I said were truth, right?
Bo Nix, you were wrong with.
That's what I said. I admitted to it. Unlike you big juggaloon. When I'm wrong, I admit to my mistakes, right?
I admit when I'm wrong.
Bo Nix he fooled me. I thought he was going to be good because he worked in 3 different systems. And apparently he fooled old buddy in Denver as well.
2 games, Alex.
It is 2 games.
Alex
It is 2 games, but like he looks lost out there.
True.
Like you not studying the playbook all season. You knew you were the starter in like week 1 of training camp, right? Like who else were they putting out there? So how do you not know the play calls? How do you not know the playbook? How do you not look at least show me something that would give me hope that you're going to be above average?
I am so happy that the Chargers, who were in discussions, did not trade for Sean Payton. Oh my God!
I mean, Harbaugh was the clear answer when he showed interest. Why would you would?
It was 2 years ago, fool.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying plus he played there.
Okay.
Right? He was terrible there, so he's got to come and redeem his reputation as a Charger.
Well, listen, you already pissed off our host and our beloved leader right now because you said Trevor Lawrence is a bum. All right, so let's
he is.
keep going. So
again,
listen, the team that could turn it around, I think Ant would agree with me here. The team that would turn around, I think, is Baltimore. I think it starts today. We'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about it. I actually like Tennessee's defense. They've been really surprising. I said that they're going to pump it up a little bit. Good Lord, Alex. And it's just the Rams are at default because they're hurt. There's really nothing you can. They're done. I think they're not going to be able to get into playoffs. They're on my NFC West division pick. I thought that team was going to be good, but injuries is something you cannot foretold and you cannot predict. It's just the way it is. The Giants are
Is
trash.
it though? Coop's been hurt since he came out of the womb. So, is it not something we can predict? Cooper Kupp has been hurt since he came out of the womb. The dude misses significant time every year. He's an amazing receiver, but he's hurt all the time now.
Now,
am I wrong?
Since the womb.
Since the womb.
Since the womb, guy.
He tore an Achilles when he was on the freaking birthing table, bro. Let's get real.
Get out of here. The biggest thing for me, Alex, out of this entire group, the biggest thing for me is what everyone is talking about now, and I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but it's been more of a discussion this week, is Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's coming off as the pretender. Look how pissed Alex is. And so the entire thing, the only team that I'm picking that has a chance to turn it around is Baltimore, and we'll find out today. They should be running Derrick Henry 25 times or more because there's no D tackles right now in Dallas. So that should be the game plan today. Everything else, Jacksonville's a pretender, Cincinnati's a pretender, and yeah. So
let the record show that my Super Bowl pick was the Bengals over the Rams. And they have combined for as many wins as I have through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. Look, Baltimore can certainly turn it around. Can the quarterback maybe throw a pass here and there? I mean, let's just try that. Maybe I think that works.
Oh, here we go.
Cincinnati can certainly turn it around because they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now, the loss last week, I thought they looked really good last week. There's no moral victories, but like what the team that you saw week 1 was not the team you saw.
Yeah,
week
they
2.
showed life.
Yeah, so it's fine. Like I think they're going to be just fine. The Rams are the Rams.
That's fool's gold.
I don't know what you do. I think the Rams can be fine. They just got to get in.
Not this
By the
year.
time they get in, by the time the NFC is generally weak, and I will tell you right now, if the Rams can win 9 and get a wild card spot when they're healthy at the end, nobody's going to want to play the Rams in the playoffs.
But watching this team, where do you think they're going to get 9 wins from?
I mean,
Like without Puka for what, next 3 weeks minimum?
No,
Cup,
longer than that.
Okay, Cup's out till week 8 or 10, whatever it is, right? Like you're just going to run Williams 50 times a game?
Let's play a little bit, right? So they got the Niners today at home.
Lost. They're 0-3.
They go to
Loss.
That might be a win.
I'm 50-50 on that.
They host Green Bay.
That's a loss.
Probably.
Love is probably back by then.
Love is back next week.
They host the Raiders.
That's a loss. The Raiders look better than advertised. Yes, they do. Sorry. Hate to break it to you.
They have 3 home games in a row. They host the Vikings.
That's a loss.
Probably not.
Stop
Probably
it,
not. They go to Seattle.
That's a lot. Like where?
Maybe, but the Rams always play them hard in Seattle.
Where are the wins coming? When are the wins coming? Tell me, they play
Miami,
Jacksonville.
They host
Miami's a win.
Miami's a win. Maybe, yeah.
They go to New England.
Win. That's 2 wins.
They host the Eagles.
That's a coin flip. I don't know. That's a coin flip. I don't know.
Okay. Now here it gets a little dicey.
You say that's a coin flip?
It gets my favorite is that they're going to lose to the Raiders. It's dicey against the Eagles. I love that. Then it gets a little dicey. They go to New Orleans. We'll see what New Orleans is at that point. We have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see at that point.
Yeah.
They host Buffalo. Okay, fine.
That's a loss.
They go to San Francisco, which means they'll probably split these games.
No, they're not splitting with now this year. They just don't have the horses in the stables.
They go play the Jets.
Loss.
That's the coin flip. You got to see which
Aaron
Rodgers. Did Aaron Rodgers tear his Achilles again by then?
They close with the Cards and the Seahawks. I need to find 9 wins. Hold on.
You're not finding 9 wins in
Bears,
that schedule.
Raiders, Vikings, Dolphins, Patriots, Cardinals. 7.
Exactly. I told you. Where is this team squeaking out 9 wins? And the worst part is,
if they win those games and split Seattle and the Niners, I got it. Yeah, that's good.
You included Minnesota as a win.
I did.
I think Minnesota's going to
fraudulent.
Stomp them, dude.
Fraudulent.
No, I don't think Minnesota's fraudulent, man.
I think New Orleans will win today, and after that, I don't care. That's why I think New Orleans will go. So if they win today, I don't care.
I think it comes down to the wire with New Orleans and Tampa Bay. I don't know what like. If Baker continues to play the way he's playing, which I'll give him credit for, even though he is Baker Mayfield.
You're such a hater, dude.
Tampa Bay is a legit contender to win the NFC South for sure. As long as he maintains his level of play now, they will compete with 90% of the teams in the league.
Unless Atlanta really could build from this Monday win. If that team could figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
We talked about it before, Alex. If they can figure it out from an offensive standpoint and their defense will come around, they have the best safety tandem in the NFL. If that offense can figure it out and Kirk gets a little bit more mobile like Aaron Rodgers,
Kirk's got more. I honestly think this is the most talented offensive-wise that he's had. He has playmakers at all positions. 2 running backs, a tight end, a true number 1 wide receiver, and a couple other guys. But I
got questions on Kyle Pitts.
I don't. I think Kyle Pitts is a true wide receiver tight end. I'm not asking him to block. He's not George Kittle or Kelsey, right? But if you want him to just go out and catch the ball from that position, he creates a lot of terrible matchups for defense.
We'll find out tonight. What kind of team they are. I'm excited for tonight's game.
Yeah.
So we will let's see how Tampa is legit. What's the news on Vita Vea? I have no idea. I don't know. Tampa's just. I can't
Ask Mike.
Let's ask Mike.
Mike's not here.
Ask Mike.
I don't have the video. I can't snip the video. But
Oh, that's the best video.
how
ever.
soon will the Bears offensive line get Caleb Williams murdered? Anthony, your thoughts?
I hope it stops today. I mean, to be honest with you.
Wait, did you guys? Was there a draft I was unaware of? Did you pick up some more offensive linemen that were like coming out of retirement or something? Because I think it's a talent issue. It's not a want to issue. But I'm not trying to be a jerk. I want the Bears to succeed.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I've been watching all the clips online.
Yeah.
They've been getting embarrassed on the line. Yeah. It's not going to be good.
And I want to play devil's advocate with you. Do you hate that pick now, looking at everything it is today with Roma Dunze, instead of getting offensive lineman?
You should.
Like I told your ass.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you had that right tackle right there for you.
Yeah.
Or even better, you could have traded back and maybe picked up 2 or 3 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
No one wanted to trade back with him.
No. I understand what you're saying, but they could have found a trade partner. It might not have been perfect and ideal, but
Listen, I think they felt the offensive line was set, and they
exactly
improved from last year, and I think they they're just not playing well.
I'm telling you, I feel really good about trading Keenan Allen away, man.
Yeah,
good Lord.
Yeah.
That guy is frustrating as a mofo.
Yeah, I mean, he could really use him, but that's for another day.
If you want to see a couple disappointing passers, you can just start off with the Giants and the Browns at 1 p.m. today. The Browns are 1-1. They are laying 6.5. Over under 38.5. Malik Neighbors joins Odell Beckham Jr. as the only Giants rookie receivers with 10 plus catches, 125 plus yards, and a touchdown in a game. Cleveland Browns have allowed just 220.8 yards per game at home since 2023. That's the fewest in the NFL. There's one thing currently working in Cleveland. It's their defense at home. You wouldn't know that from week 1, but that's okay. If there's a get-right game for the Browns defense, Alex, it would be today because
what defense
stinks at football.
What defense?
What defense?
They're all hurt.
There we go.
You guys hurt.
Yeah. Our backups are better than your starters, bud, so I probably wouldn't talk a lot.
No.
Hold on, wait.
Listen,
wait.
You trade your whole defense for Myles Garrett, so calm down.
I just want to summarize what Alex just said.
Out of hand.
Hold on, that's what Alex just said.
Fuck the Bears! Fuck Chicago! Fuck you!
That's what Alex just said, basically. Go ahead.
Alex, he's drinking too much.
They both have bald heads.
He's drinking too much.
Yeah, man.
I mean, look, if the Browns don't win this one and cover, I don't know what you do.
Listen, I
not.
told everybody in our Pick'em show the Browns are going to end up 4th in this division, and it's going to be facts. Like Deshaun Watson looks like what Caleb Williams is right now. A rookie. No, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like, at least Caleb Williams is a rookie, right? Like, Caleb hasn't played in the league except for 2 games. Deshaun Watson has years where he was finished third in MVP voting, right? But they look the same. That should be scary for anybody involved with Cleveland, right? Like, in a management
it's
position.
A good point.
Your job should be – you should be in jeopardy. Like, Stefanski's a 2-time coach of the year, and because he's coaching this bum, he might get fired. Like, that's how bad this is, right? Like, this is the worst contract trade decision in the history of the NFL. This matches the Herschel Walker trade, all of it. This is horrible.
Russell Wilson.
Crippled. We are in a position where if we had a quarterback like Joe Flacco, which is scary to think because Joe Flacco now is average at best, right? We're a playoff contender. If we had an above average quarterback with the defense and the weapons that we have, we're a Super Bowl contender. But we're not. We're in the bottom 5-10 of the league. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, we have so much talent, embarrassment of riches of talent on both sides of the ball. We don't even have both of our starting tackles, which are perennial all-pro, Pro Bowl guys, and we still could be contenders. But because we have a quarterback that does not remember how to play the game because he's got so much guilt carrying around from whatever the situation was. I'm not trying to, come on here and get on a soapbox, right? But the dude is broken, and I don't think he'll ever be fixed. So it is what it is, right? Like, it sucks, but I'm used to it as a Browns fan. Like, the thing we finally get a quarterback, I think, and he's what every other quarterback's been in a Browns uniform.
But Alex, to even put it on to what you're saying, we talked about it on Tuesday, was the fact that you guys still won a game last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that was because of your defense.
Right.
Your offense didn't really do much.
Yeah. And we won because of our defense. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a bottom 3 franchise in the NFL right now as far as talent-wise. I'm not saying they're misrun too, but what I mean is talent-wise, I would argue Jacksonville's a bottom 3 talented team in the NFL. You can argue whatever you want. That's my opinion. Watch them play. Watch them execute. Watch the little things that they don't do. That's what I'm talking about. I don't care what, this guy's that good, this guy's that good.
Wait, hold on. Who's your other 2 teams that you have that's bottom 3?
The Giants, without a doubt. Okay. And then
Carolina?
Yeah, it's Carolina, and then probably a close 4th is Denver, and probably a close 5th is Washington, if you want the honest truth, right? Like, I think Jaden is a great, spark. Like, he can get them. Yeah, New England's in there too, but I just think New England, you made the wrong choice at head coach. You made the wrong choice at quarterback. It's not just the talent for New England. It's all of it. It's the whole package.
I don't want to keep on beating a dead horse.
I just mean talent perspective. I'm not talking about organizationally run, all that stuff. I just mean with talent.
This is a break it or make it type of year for Deshaun. I think if he's not able to do anything from the talent that they have on this team,
you give him another shot. He's already broken. He's already broken.
After this year, it's make it or break it. And so if that doesn't work out and it's not good, I'm taking Cleveland today. Obviously, I will never take the Giants. But if Deshaun doesn't perform well, you got to go into the market and find someone that's good that can make game managing type of things like Flacco did last year.
The only way we can do that is if we get out of his contract.
Brian's got something to say.
They cannot get out of his contract.
Yeah, they can. We can with the clause, with this new thing. That's the only way we can get out. We can break his.
You're terrible.
We can't do. What do you want me to do, man?
It is, again, barring that, it is cheaper for them to keep him than it is to get rid of him.
I totally agree. What I'm saying is the only way there is a light at the end of this tunnel is if we can break. I did pick Washington, but I've also watched them for 2 weeks, Dave. Like, you can do a lot of stuff in the preseason and be wrong. I admitted. I will admit when I'm wrong right away. I'm not going to sit there and hold on to hope. I picked them as my dark horse to make the playoffs, as the last pick, the last seed in the wild card. You're absolutely right, Dave.
Brian,
I've watched them for 2 weeks.
Brian, they can't get out of that contract, so they're going to have to live with that thing.
We can get out of it. We can get out of it. If these charges are filed, we're out of it.
Okay, fine. What year did you say if that doesn't happen? What year?
3 years from now.
3 years. After 2026.
Yeah, 3 years from now.
24,
25, 26. Yes. I mean, get out of it, but it's still
where is the opening? It's
after, but it's still like 40 or 50 million though, right? Even if we get out in 26, right? It's still
then there's money years. I mean, again, it's you get some dead cap, but not a lot. If they cut him, if they were to cut him right now, his cap number's 27. It would be 200 million dead.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If they cut him next year, his cap number 70. Which, by the way, this is the part you're not paying attention to. Maybe you are. I maybe you did. they have to have to restructure it again next year.
Yes.
And the year after that.
Yes.
So like they can't.
They designed it.
He does something.
They designed it for restructure for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But and what's really shitty is if Deshaun gets a hair up his ass and he decides not to restructure, we're going to have to gut the team. Like, then we'll be really, really bad. Like, we won't have nobody on defense.
I think at that point, they actually would probably set him up. I think they would they would send a couple people to his house.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They would P. Diddy him so hard if that was the case.
Jesus.
Or they'd Epstein him, one or the other.
No Diddy, Brian,
they might Epstein him, you know what I mean?
Take that.
So can I tell you something about that? This is actually, I know this. So in my times when I said I would love it if Dak Prescott ended up on Unsolved Mysteries, was never found again. I did look into it. It still counts against your cap if they're dead.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Are you freaking? There's no way, dude.
Yeah.
How?
That's what CBA says.
You're not paying them, so how are they getting?
The estate gets the money. It's guaranteed money.
Jesus.
Hey, listen, I looked into it.
God, dude.
You are.
I was interested.
Yeah, he's got to be set up. He's got to get set up. Like, we got to. I'll order the massage therapist and send him to his house.
You need some AI video. You need some AI video that everyone says, yeah, that was him.
Guys, hey, Brian looked it up because he was trying to do it to Nick.
No.
Oh,
No, I just wanted Dak Prescott cease to exist. That's all. I'm a Cowboys fan. That's what I should do. Giants don't win this game. Browns win. Browns cover for Alex's mental state.
no, I mean, honestly, you heard what I said.
moving
I want
on.
him to suck. I want him to
Moving on.
lose every game.
Oh, I feel you, dog.
I want to get the next franchise quarterback on a rookie deal for 5 years and sit Deshaun on the bench and watch him pout and cry and restructure his contract and get him out of there. Like,
Okay, next game.
All right.
Brown, Giants
Browns.
plus 6.5.
You like?
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, yeah.
oh, dang.
That'll lead to a conversation later in the Sports Box Messenger chat. Look, it is the Malik Willis revenge game.
Yeah,
Packers
buddy.
1-1 and Titans 0-2. Tennessee laying 3 at home regardless. The over-under is 37 and a hook. Green Bay leads the league with 424 rushing yards, probably because they had no quarterback last week. Tennessee, Calvin Ridley leads the team, 127 yards, and I think that's 2 touchdowns. I think I just missed that. Jordan Love might be back next week, which is wild to me. It's actually crazy. Like, they didn't actually make him inactive until today.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, I think if they weren't playing Tennessee, they probably would have played him. If it was a game they thought they had no chance to win.
Good.
If it was a conference game, they probably would have played him.
Oh, I'm going the other way. I think it's because Tennessee's defense is sneaky good, and they're worried about him getting re-injured. I think they're sitting him because, I mean, they are going to be competitive in this game without him, so I think they have a chance to win without him, so that's why they're doing it. But I think it also is the factor of the defense, too. Like, they don't want to take a chance to set him back and lose him maybe for longer in the year.
Real quick for me, I'll let Ann speak on the betting and all that stuff. It's the Packers for me. When that's going to lose this game, I'm going with Tennessee. This is a little bit of a shocker for me. I'm going with Tennessee. I don't trust the Malik Willis. I think he was a surprise last week. I'm going with Tennessee in that defense. A lot of smash mouth football, and make sure Will Levis doesn't do any more idiotic mistakes that would be replayed for years to come in the NFL ball. Other than that, I'm going Tennessee on this one, and we'll see what happens. But I think I'm going to be wrong, but I'm just shooting in the dark here with Tennessee because it's at home.
Can we not gloss over the fact that Calvin Ridley had a better game in Tennessee with a rookie quarterback than he ever had with the prince that was promised? Can we not gloss over that fact? Can we not gloss over that fact?
The Panthers have rejected trade offers from 4 teams.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. Miami was one of them. I guarantee you, yeah. But my thing is you say Carolina can't make the trade. Why not?
You just have because you've got so much sunk into him.
They're going to get
so much sunk into him that he's sitting on the bench not doing nothing for you.
But is that
shoot.
what?
Oh, Palmer's out.
Yeah, I knew that.
Brenner Rice is active.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Don't use that as an excuse why you guys lose today.
You said that Calvin Ridley had no good games last year?
No, I said this is a better game than he had.
Oh. I mean, because he did have 300-yard games, multiple touchdown games.
300-yard game? What 300-yard game did he have?
300-yard game.
Oh, okay. Poof. I was about to say 300 yards.
No.
Where was I? In the
That's
coma?
it?
Yeah.
One was 90.
three?
One was, 89.
Yeah, 3 total.
Come on,
for
Trevor
the whole
Lawrence.
year.
He had 1,000 yards last year.
The prince that was promised.
He had 1,000 yards last year. 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was the only target on the offense. I hope he had a
No. That team paid $80 million to what's his name right now? Christian Kirk.
Stop it. I don't
He
care.
did.
Yeah.
Hey, it's being on. I call it like I see it.
Anta.
Yeah, go ahead, Ant. Give us the betting line and.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm surprised the Packers. I had the Packers winning 0 games with Willis as their backup quarterback. So the fact that they got one is an absolute victory for them.
Ant, fix your hat. Your bias is showing. I was kidding.
But I'm leading the Titans today, but more strong play here, I think, is the under. I don't think there's going to be many points scored in this game today. Lots of running the ball. I like Tony Pollard over 50 yards rushing at least. But give me the under today at 37.5.
If you want to see excellence at the quarterback position, you can just turn on the Bears-Colts game at 1:00. Indy's -1, over-under's 44. Caleb Williams has yet to throw a touchdown in 2 games. The Colts have allowed 474 rushing yards. That is the most in the NFL. They did play the Packers last week, who lead the league. That might be why. Again, now, I may have called the Rams and the Bengals, and that may not look that great right now, but I do believe that you said the Bears were going to the Super Bowl. So I wanted to just let you know, I'm not the only moron here, so I'd let you take the stage.
I mean, they're 1-1.
We're 1-1.
They're not out of it yet.
I was just going to say that. They're 1-1. So I feel good. I wasn't expecting a win last Sunday. They played a way better team. They actually held a Super Bowl contender to 19 points, had a chance to win the game. But, I mean, we're not – it is what it is. But today, I think today's the day.
But you did get gifted a Week 1 win. Let's be realistic here.
We're going to take it.
All right, but I'm just saying.
Absolutely. But I think today's the day he could get off the schneid here. I think the Colts are the team that he could do it against. I mean, this offensive line has to come to play football, and it's been so bad on the offensive line. I can't even. I don't know how to even judge Caleb's play. He's running for his life. He's made some errant throws, but I mean, it's just been really bad. So I think today's the day he gets his touchdown, maybe 2.
Baby steps. Whoa.
No, I think he can throw 2. I want to see the running game. I don't. The addition of Swift, I don't like it. I don't think he's an every down back. More of a third down back. I want to see more of Herbert. I think today, actually, Herbert scores a touchdown. He's got good odds, plus 420 to score. I think if they get down there, he'll get the ball. I'm taking the Bears today. I'm going to take them on the money line, plus 108. I think they're going to win today. I think they get it on track. I think their defense is really good, and I think their defense is going to keep them in every game.
Listen, real quick, I'm surprised Ant didn't mention the biggest issue I have with Cleveland, and besides their Chicago, besides their offensive line, is their play caller. Shane Waldron's been absolutely god-awful the last 2 weeks. He needs to figure it out. He needs to make his quarterback really comfortable. This is the issue that we talked about with Carolina. I'm going to stick with it with Chicago. You have a very talented quarterback who showed a lot of heart against tough Houston Texas defense. Who I think he's up there historically as the most hit quarterback in the first 2 weeks of his season, and for his rookie season. And it's time to make him more comfortable in the pocket. You have a bad offensive line. This is the defense to play against right now, today, to build his confidence back up, to work on things that need to make him better. And the whole DeAndre Swift thing, like, remember, Swift excelled last year in Philly because it was smart what they were doing with him.
They had an offensive line, Drew. The Eagles had
that too, yeah, I agree with you. But But if you don't have an offensive line, what do? You work to his strengths, right? What's his strength? His strength is pass catching. So make him into screens. Get away from just doing the 3 technique of pass blocking, because your right tackle can't do that. So then make it where it's easy for him to succeed and be better. I'm with Ant. If you don't remember, I was about Chicago the entire offseason. I was full. I thought their offensive line was at least average to above. They're not. But I also don't like Shane Waldron. I don't like how he's calling these games these last 2 weeks. Their defense, Chicago's defense might be top 5 in the NFL. We both said that. We both said that. So how do you benefit your quarterback into order being productive is give him the Trent Dilfer status, have him do smart play designs where it's quick pass, get rid of it, and make sure my guy doesn't get touched because he's getting touched too much, and I don't like it. It pisses me off because you're not protecting your franchise investment. I got Chicago winning today. I think it's going to be a huge scoring game for both teams. I think it's going to be one of those rookie phenom type of games, but then because Anthony Richardson is pretty much a rookie, and so I have the Bears winning by 10, but I think it's going to be a high scoring type of game. Go on Bears.
I'm going Bears as well. The only thing I'll say is this: Caleb is averaging 33 pass attempts a game.
It's too much.
I'd like to see that number at about 25.
Yeah.
So you need to run the ball, right? You have 2 competent running backs, right? I agree with you that Swift is more of a third down option. I'm totally on board with that. I think you need to rely on the running game more and having Caleb pass a little bit.
Did you get the report?
Yeah, so basically, Caleb Williams is going to wear a wristband today for the first time.
I love
How
that.
was that in the first 2 weeks?
I love it.
Why?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that. Why would you not wear a wrist? What's the point?
I mean, you guys
your nail painting. What the hell are we talking about here?
You guys don't watch these games. You guys don't watch these games like I do. It's so frustrating. You talk about the play calling. I can't even tell you how many 3rd and 1s there have been that they've had all year so far, and they haven't gotten. They're getting the short down yardages that you like, and they're running zone runs from the shotgun. So it's very frustrating. It's the same shit I saw last year. It's like the same offensive coordinator. So yeah, the coaches got to coach them up. In the sense, I kind of agree with. I don't know if you guys listen to Coward. They need an offensive coach.
Yeah,
they need an offensive-minded program because it's just not. You need a guy. There's no Andy Reid's all over the place, but you need a guy like that.
If the Bears, the Colts remind me a lot of the Titans in a way. I like the Bears to win the game.
But yes, 7 to 10 point win. I think. I don't think it's a close game.
Let's hope.
Yep. Battle of the Juggernauts. 2-0 teams. The Houston Texans and the Minnesota Vikings. Houston laying a 1.5 on the road. 46.5 is the number. Houston trying to go 3-0 for the second time in franchise history. Minnesota trying to do the same for the first time since 2016. One of these teams 2-0, rather expected. The other one, not so much. But here we are. One of these teams is going to win today. I think it's God, that number just begs you to take Houston, doesn't it? That's my concern. That's my concern that something goes haywire here because that number just begs you to take out a loan against your home and put on.
I'll
Brian,
start off. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree, Brian. I like Minnesota today, to be honest. I think a home dog. Their defense is playing really well. Houston's run game is going to be banged up. No Mixon, no Pierce. They got Akers coming in. I think it could be a struggle today. Brian Flores, he's been blitzing a lot on Minnesota. I think he can give Stroud a problem. I think it's going to be a very close game. I'm going to take Minnesota to come out and win by a field goal. I think I like the over.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Ant. This game is screaming Minnesota for me as well. I've been going back and forth in this game a lot this week. We made our picks on Tuesday, as you know. I went with Houston. I'm going to stick with them just because I'm going to go on that trend. I hate the fact that Joe Mixon's out. Dameon Pierce doesn't really do much for me. Cam Akers is just a liability at running the ball. We're going to see a lot of passing, a lot of short passing, a lot of intermediate passing. I expect Diggs to have a big game today. I'm looking at him.
All those guys, I think, are going to really contribute on the outside.
Yeah, I think Houston's defense is going to create more of an issue, which is hard to say. But to San Francisco, I think San Francisco took Minnesota very lightly. I don't think Houston's going to make that same mistake. I'm going with Houston here real quick. I don't want to keep on dragging out our games here, but going Houston.
I'm pretty sure I picked Minnesota in this game on our show, but I don't remember for sure. Something just gives me the feeling that Minnesota is going to squeak out a win here. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's like a field goal game, maybe 4 points, somewhere in that range. Something just tells me that the Texans are going to come in too overconfident, underestimate the Vikings, and they're going to take a loss here.
This line I don't like it. Eagles should have won last week, but they didn't. Oh no. They're 1-1 going to the 2-0 Saints. New Orleans -2.5, over under 49.5. Eagles 1-7 since 2018 when facing the number one scoring offense entering that week. The Saints 2-0 for the consecutive season for the second time since 2009. So the Eagles defensively are not good.
Yes, correct.
So this is going to come down to if the Saints defense can stop the Eagles offense without A.J. Brown, and the numbers for Jalen Hurts without A.J. Brown, like their defense, not
terrible.
Good. I know a lot of people on Outside the Box that really like to give me crap when I needle the Eagles fans, which is the primary purpose of the goddamn group, by the way. Anyway. They've not been good for a while. Do you know they have one game that they have won on American soil in the past 300 days?
On American soil.
Facts.
Yeah, look it up.
Facts.
They beat the Giants, and they have that is their only win in the north of the equator in the past 300 days. Okay? I am so sick and tired of hearing about how good this team is. That quarterback is a fraud. And I've been saying that for like 3 years now, and I'm not getting off the train. The only thing that's more fraudulent is their defense because it stinks and they can't stop anybody. You know, this team went to the Super Bowl on 70 sacks, was it? Like some insane number. They haven't had a pass rusher hit the quarterback in 6 weeks.
And that's
good.
That's the Eagles' main issue, in my opinion. Nothing offensively, anything like that. But it's their defensive pressure. They have nobody on the outside to rush. They gave Huff all this money, and he was a situational rusher for the Jets.
Yeah,
he wasn't an everyday guy. They let Reddick walk out the door. They could have just paid him, and it could have at least helped their defense a little bit on one side. You got a nearly 40-year-old Brandon Graham is their best pass rusher right now. And there was a comment earlier saying that about Sirianni, and he was mentioning the real guys are the general manager. Well, the general managers for the Eagles should be to blame here. Their defense is not living up. Jalen Carter's not playing as well as he thought. The guys from Georgia, all the guys from Georgia are just playing mediocre football. So if anything, you got to go at Howie Roseman and question what he was doing. So I think the real problem for the Eagles is defensively. They're going to struggle stopping people this year. And today's going to – they got their hands full today because it's going to be a heavy dose of Kamara, I believe. because they cannot set the edge, and they're just going to run zone runs on them all day.
I'm with Anthony. You said, well, I think it's not going to be a heavy dose of Kamara. I think it's going to be a heavy dose of Derek Carr today. I think he's going to continue his MVP early rankings and continue to stay hot. Fantasy managers around the world do not hesitate to put him in on your lineups. He should be QB1 if you have him. Rasheed Wallace is going to out Rasheed Wallace.
Rasheed Wallace, we love Rasheed Wallace.
Hey,
Yeah, man, he could help the Eagles right now a lot. Actually,
he could,
man.
Rashid Shaheed, he's going to absolutely kill it. We had it on the blitz earlier today. Chris Olave is going to have a day. It's going to be absolutely an offensive output for New Orleans today. They're going to go 3-0. I got New Orleans.
Look, I like Chris. Jahan Dotson. This is another one. Eagles fans love. They go get this like obscure receiver from
Jahan Dotson.
He is the greatest thing that ever happened. Like that guy, there is a reason that a team without wide receivers was willing to let him go. Okay, in the division. I mean, God, Jahan Dotson. Come on, please.
That's like saying Michael Gallup.
All right, I'm going Saints here. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game than we all think, though. But I still think the Saints. Yeah, I'm saying like 24-13, 24-17, somewhere in that range. I would take the under. Something is just telling me like everything is setting up for New Orleans to have an explosive monster offensive output, and they're just not going to. They're going to come back down to earth. They're not going to score 40 points this week. But, yeah, I still definitely have the Saints. The Eagles, man, I don't know, man. They just can't figure it out, when it seems like they have all the talent.
Yeah, real quick, I don't think it's a Jalen Hurts issue. I think it's a coaching issue.
No, agreed. Totally. I said that last year. I don't know how you brought that juggaloon back from last year. Like
he lost the locker room last year.
He continued to make terrible coaching decisions. He continued to make bad locker room etiquette decisions. There's all kinds of stories about this guy. I don't know how the guy continues to have a job there. So Eagles are still in,
It's like Tony after drinking in one drink.
Oh, Eagles are still in bad shape, locker room wise. I think that is bleeding over to the field. So toxic environment. So yeah, Saints 3-0.
All I know is that after that miraculous win against the Bills, where Gabe Davis didn't turn his head, so the Eagles won a game, I was told, and I quote, Jalen Hurts does not lose. And since that game, Jalen Hurts has lost a lot of football games. He's only won 2 of them, and only one of them was here. I am stating facts, right? So put your pom-poms down. Your football team stinks. Saints by 100. A battle of 2-0 juggernauts. The Los Angeles Chargers take their 2-0 record into Pittsburgh against the Pittsburgh Steelers, also 2-0.
Let's go.
2-0 hook today. 35 is the number. Oh, boy. Dobbins leads the NFL with 266 rushing yards, almost 10 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh has allowed 8 points per game in 2 games. That's really good. The Chargers have allowed less. Some of that might be situational as far as who they've played. I'm not going to dig deep into that out of respect to my boy, because then he gets all mad. Drew, listen, your team's 2-0. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
How about that?
Yeah.
Harbaugh effect. I love that man, dude. I love that man.
Me too.
Ohio State loves that man. It just say John Harbaugh's a man. He's just a man amongst men. And listen, dude, change your culture. Change your culture. Real quick, I'll be quick. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I know you guys are ready to move on. Listen, this Joe Alt was the right pick. I'm going to keep on saying that every week. People want to always call and bitch and complain about Malik Neighbors not being the pick. Joe Alt was always the right pick. Established the right tackle, one of the best right tackles right now so far in 2 weeks. his biggest test is this week against, obviously, Alex's defensive player of the year pick, TJ Watt. TJ Watt is going to be an absolute animal today, but we're hoping we can stop him. It's going to be a big test for the Rook. That's the main matchup I'm watching for today's game is Alt and TJ Watt. J.K. Dobbins, probably the candidate for everybody for a comeback player of the year. Absolutely killing it these 2 weeks, leading the league in rushing, like Brian already stated. No Palmer. Herbert's playing. I think it's more of a distraction that he's playing just because of his talent of being able to throw the ball. Because God forsake, we don't want Easton Stick in there. So Herbert's in. It's still going to be a lot of rushing. It's going to be a lot of rushing on both sides. It's not going to be a game that most people are going to want to watch. It's not going to be a crazy high offensive output. This is going to be a defensive game. It's your old school chess match, field territory. Where's the ball going to be placed during these quarters? It's that those things are going to matter. It's going to be a small, less mistake of a game from both sides. Two great head coaches going against each other. This is an old rivalry between the Chargers and Steelers. I'm excited for this game. I'm not having big expectations, but I want to say this. This game's going to matter as we get into the weeks 16, 17, and 18 for postseason implications. I'm rolling with the Chargers, obviously, today because next week we have our big division matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. This game matters like no other. We got to get a win today, but it's going to be a really tough game. It's going to be a grind. 17-14 Chargers.
Just to be clear, John Harbaugh's record is 3-7 against Ohio State.
He won a championship. Has Ohio State won a championship?
Oh, yeah. We won the very first. So thank you, dipshit. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You don't even have a fucking college football team. Shut your mouth.
They were gifted one.
Shut your mouth.
In the early 2000s, they were gifted one.
Oh, yeah. The early 2000s, we were gifted one? Really? That's why we have 8 total, which is only behind 2. Which is only behind 2 programs. So eat a dick, both of you. When either one of your teams can even compete with my team, talk to me. Oh, but you can't.
Flag.
Anyways, I have royalties on eat a dick. That's my phrase. I think you want to $10 the dollar.
I think the Steelers get a win here today. The Chargers are definitely pretenders. If you think that Dobbins is going to average 10 yards a carry, that's like fool's gold. It's fool's gold, right? The guy is one step out of the shower from tearing his Achilles. So good luck with that. Pretty soon your backup will be your starter. So listen, I think both of these teams are honestly pretenders. I just feel like they're in Pittsburgh, so I give the Steelers a slight edge. It's probably going to be a close game, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Chargers win, but I think the Steelers pull out a victory here, and Justin Fields surprises everybody, and he throws a touchdown pass in this game.
Whoa.
Again, a home team not even catching 3 points.
I know.
That always concerns me. But I mean, a hobble Justin Herbert, a really good Pittsburgh defense. Over under 35.
How's he going to get away from TJ Watt?
That's I'll take the Steelers. I'll take the Steelers today. I'll take the -2.5.
This guy said Joe Alt. He's like, I'm going to take a rookie.
It's up to 36 now, just in case.
It's up to 36. I like Justin Fields actually anytime touchdown. I think he could run one in today. I think you get a +220 right now.
No, he's going to throw like a 35-yard touchdown pass. Get ready.
Last game at 1:00 is Bo Nix and Baker Mayfield. So if you got something to do,
Bucks are this is the time to do your yard work.
0-2 and 2-0. Tampa Bay laying 6.5. They're my survivor pick this week. Over unders 41. Denver's won 4 of 5 against the Bucks for what it's worth. Mayfield has the second highest passer rating in the league this year. Alex, when you see him do stuff, you just get mad.
No, like I don't even think about him. He was like
That's the hater.
He's like a pimple on your ass. You know what I mean? You pop it and you move on. Like who cares? Like
I'm just asking.
like the thing is like all these people. Oh, he's successful. What has he done? Have they won a Super Bowl? Did I miss it?
What has Deshaun done?
Have they won the NFC? Did I miss it? Like
what
they're
Deshaun
in
done?
probably one of the worst divisions in football. They have a lot of talent on that team besides the quarterback position. They should be good. So no, I'm not upset at all that he is having some semi-mild success. Good for him. He was not the right guy in Cleveland. He proved that over and over. And good for him. He's in a better run organization. Hopefully, he doesn't light his car on fire or have a bunch of commercials and ruin your season too.
This is the problem with Cleveland fans because they can't realize how great potential he had.
Yeah.
He had great potential with horrible rosters and horrible coaching.
From a Chargers fan, I'll take that as a compliment.
That's why Cleveland Browns never had a good quarterback in how many years? Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why you got to go and leave Cleveland and be able to be successful.
Oh, man.
Cleveland is just like Carolina. Nothing's changed. So,
how many quarterbacks' careers have you ruined?
At the end of the day, Baker Mayfield made the right decision in staying in Tampa, working in Tampa, being productive in Tampa, because at least Tampa knows how to produce results. And that's what he's happy. That's why he got a contract. That's why he's able to win a playoff game last year and came down to the wire against Detroit. It's that simple. So kudos to him. Tampa Bay's going to win. They're going to go to 3-0. Denver's a joke of an atrocity in the NFL. Sean Payton's going to be fired after the year is done. It's time to move on.
I think the Bucs win today, but I'm taking the Broncos to cover. I'm going to take the plus 6.5 with the Broncos. I think they could cover that. I think it'll be a closer game. I like both receivers today. Either one you could pick today for the Bucs. You got Godwin plus 150 anytime. You got Evans always in the end zone plus 115. That'll make you some money. But yeah, give me the Bucs on the money line. Give me the Bucs to win. Broncos to cover the spread.
We move to 4 p.m. where you're just not going to care about this game. You're just not. The 0-2 Panthers against the 1-1 Raiders, and the Raiders are laying 6. When the hell was the last time the Raiders laid 6 on anybody? The over-under is 40. Andy Dalton is 3-0, 716 passing yards and a touchdown, no picks, 114.2% career rating against the Raiders. Minshew leads the league, 77.5% completion. The storyline here is who's not playing, and that's it. Nobody cares who wins this game. It should be the Raiders, God forbid. But yeah, there's not a lot to talk about here. I mean, not a lot of fan. I mean, Brock Bowers is asserting himself as one of the only 2 relevant tight ends in fantasy, along with Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Which is shocking, frankly. But what do you? I mean, this is not going to be it's not America's game of the week. Put that
way. Real quick, this is my survivor pick. It should be it is for a lot of people. I'm picking the Raiders this week for my survivor pick, and then also for all purposes, like you said, at Brock Bowers. Absolute phenomenal specimen of a tight end right now so far these 2 weeks. I think he's leading all tight ends in most categories, I believe, through the 2 weeks. Big game for Zamir White, I think, today. Plug him in if you need to, or bet, or do the bets, whatever it is that it's on the line. And overall, man, this game doesn't matter to most people unless you have survivor picks or your fantasy implications. Other than that, Raiders going to go 2-1.
I'd be careful, Drew. It's the NFL. I'm taking the Panthers today. I'm taking the plus 6. I think they cover. I think the Raiders come down a little bit. I think Andy Dalton is more competent. They'll be able to move the ball down the field, I think. So I'm gonna take the plus 6. I'm gonna take Carolina, and that's pretty much all.
Raiders. I don't need to go into any reasons why.
The Miami Dolphins cross the country to go visit the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks 2-0, laying 4.5, 41.5 is the number. Miami is 1-4 without Tua since McDaniel took the job in 2022. For Seattle, JSN and DK became the first 2 Seattle receivers each. 10 catches, 100+ yards in one game. I'm not a Geno Smith guy, but the offense looks pretty good. It does. This should be a game where, again, Seattle's catching Miami at the best possible time, their first week without Tua Tagovailoa, so you're going to have that obvious adjustment to Skylar Thompson. So this looks like a game that Seattle can really start to – I mean, the way that division's going, I mean, they can start to actually, make some hay, which is surprising. I had them finishing last.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Sneaky team. Their defense is really good. They have offensive weapons. Geno has, he's done it since he's been there. So, Seattle's a team you got to watch. I like them today. I'll take the 4.5. I can't see this Skylar Thompson guy really doing anything, let alone being in Seattle to play. I like the Hawks today. Give me the -4.5. And as far as fantasy and prop bets, it's really hard for these Dolphins to even judge what these Dolphins players are going to do. All their values have dropped. Except Achane. Achane's value will go up and the receivers go down. So, just give me Seattle today. Take the -4.5.
Seattle for me as well. Charbonnet, plug him in. He's going to have a field day today. Jason, 18 targets last week. I expect that to keep on going up for the second-year player. That defense for Seattle is so sneaky. I think Skylar Thompson's going to have a really tough day. Seattle's going to stay undefeated.
Niners and Rams both dealing with major injuries to major players. I saw a list of the people that are out in this game, and it is absolutely nuts.
It's like an all-star team.
It is. The Niners laying 6 on the road. Yep. Over under 43.5. The Niners are averaging 24 first downs per game. That's best in the league. Stafford's 2-8 career against the Niners, 1-5 with the Rams. Look, this is a game. It's just tough to call because everybody's hurt.
Yeah.
Everybody's hurt. What do you do? I think the 6 might be high, frankly. No Debo, no Kittle, no McCaffrey, no Puka, no Stafford. It's like not Stafford. No Cooper Kupp. I think the 6 just might be high because I don't know who's scoring the points.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is definitely a stay away game, but I would take the 6. I would take the +6. I think it's going to be a lot of running, a lot of Williams, a lot of Mason. This could be a Brandon Ayuk game. I like a Brandon Ayuk anytime touchdown. I think he'll get his yards today also. But yeah, it's unfortunate all these guys are out, especially for Stafford. I think, Brian, you and I were both high, like you said, on the Rams. And unfortunately, they're just decimated by injuries. So it's going to be a struggle. But I'll take the Rams at home +6 today.
Oh, muted.
Sorry, I was talking to my wife. Can you? I'm going to say San Francisco. I think it's a close game though. It's going to be a low-scoring game as well because, like we talked about, you guys have all mentioned, everybody's hurt, right? So who the heck's going to score the points and who's going to, make a hay here? So I'm going to go San Francisco. Maybe like 24-20, something like that. It's not going to be a large or a high-scoring game. Sorry.
Both of these teams are 1-1, but I think you're surprised about the one and kind of surprised about the other for different reasons. In that the Lions and the Cardinals, Detroit laying 3 on the road, 51.5. The number should be a high-scoring game. Goff's 8-1 career against the Cards. Kyler Murray joins Kurt Warner as the only Arizona quarterbacks ever to have a perfect passer rating in a game where they threw the ball 20-plus times. Kyler is playing great to start the year. They looked the part in Buffalo. They won big last week. The Lions squeaked by the Rams and then dropped one to the Bucs. I think that they're both 1-1, but you're surprised positively and negatively.
Yeah, I agree. I think we thought the Cardinals were going to be marketably better this year, but I don't know that we thought they were going to look this competitive. The Lions on the flip side have looked not as competitive as we thought. They don't look like a team that was one play away from making the Super Bowl, right? They really don't. And I think maybe they're having a hangover, right? They were devastated by that loss, and there's a little bit of a hangover, and they're having a slow start because of it. With that being said, I think the Lions figure out a way to squeak this out. I think it's a very close game, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, as you can tell by the over/under of 51.5. So I would take the Lions, but I would be very cautious on this bet here.
Yeah, I hate taking home dogs here, and I think the Cardinals are playing really well, especially offensively. Detroit's kind of surprisingly been struggling on that end a little bit, especially on the backside. So I think Arizona could really take advantage of that if they could somehow neutralize Hutchinson, because he's just been a game wrecker. So I'm taking the home team today. I have a thing with taking home dogs, so I'm gonna take the Cardinals for the upset. The money line's plus 130. So I think the Cardinals and Marvin Harrison Jr. could give them a problem today.
I mean, if anything's going to hit the over, it's probably going to be this one. Now, since I said that, it'll be like a 10-7 game.
True.
That's usually the way that it goes. But I do think the Lions have to win coming out of last week. I think the Cardinals might be a little bit ahead of themselves, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. The Baltimore Ravens are a road favorite against the Dallas Cowboys. They're 0-2. The Cowboys are 1-1. The average for Lamar Jackson is 28.1 points per game. It's the second highest since 1950. The Cowboys have allowed 30.5 points per game, not per half. Jesus. 141.5 rushing yards per game through 2 games. That does tend to feed into what the Ravens generally do well. What I will tell you as a Cowboys fan by wearing what I am wearing is that the Rangers have a preseason game at 5, and that's what I'll be watching and not this game. But I'll tell you what, both of these, it's hard to pick the Ravens to go to 0-3, and that's why I think that the money's that direction. Yeah. But this team lost at home to the Raiders, so what do you make of that?
Yeah, this is a tough call. This is a must-win, I believe, for both teams. I think the Ravens are struggling a little defensively. I think the Cowboys could take advantage of that. I kind of like the Cowboys today. I really do. I'm gonna take the Cowboys today. I don't know why. I just think I think they could give the Ravens some issues.
Man, he stole my thunder.
Sorry.
I'm going Dallas too. I don't know what's going on with Baltimore. I have no clue. Like that, by all accounts, they should have been better. Was Patrick Queen the magic for this defense? Like he was that much of an impact?
He's a good player. He is a good player.
I totally agree with you, but I don't think that he is like the magic sauce that made this defense what it was, right?
And they lost their defensive coordinator, who's now leaving Seattle. Yeah. So I mean, there's some things going on there.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I was sneaking suspicious somehow Dallas, holds the whole field advantage here, and they win a game here. And you can tell that the money's split. I mean, it's -1 right now for Baltimore. Yeah. So I'm going to go Cowboys. It's against everything I thought, because I thought the Ravens were going to be just a powerhouse this year. I really thought they were going to just build on yet another MVP season from Lamar, and they're not. They look discombobulated. So I'm going to go Dallas here, similar to Anthony. I don't know why. I'm just going Dallas.
I don't understand. It's been since last year kind of what Baltimore's trying to do on offense. Ever since that playoff game where they didn't run the ball, it seems like every game's like that. They're not really utilizing their strengths. So I mean, for them to win the game today, I think it's got to be heavy Derrick Henry.
Look, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? That's how you beat the Cowboys. The Saints showed it last week. I mean, it doesn't make any sense as to why they brought this guy in here not to play him. not to rush him as much as he can take. Take some onus off of Lamar's need. To me, it never made any sense. So I agree with everyone here. I mean, I think the Cowboys can win this game. Do I love it? No. Am I going to watch it? No. It's just one of those things where I might be better off for my own personal edification not watching it. If you're waiting all day for Sunday night, it is the Chiefs and it is the Falcons. Both teams won last week, if you recall. KC's -3. Over under 46.5. The Chiefs are 17-5 in September under Patrick Mahomes. That's really good. Atlanta, 22.2% quarterback pressure. That's the lowest in the NFL. They're probably going to have to get a little bit better than that if they want to get. Don't give Patrick time because he will tear you apart.
I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think the Falcons actually have what it takes to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs, I mean, they're 2-0, but their victories haven't been very impressive. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is playing well, don't get me wrong, but I mean, he's not playing spectacular. Just lost their running back. Kelsey's been on a milk box. I mean, again, I like the home dog tonight. I think the Falcons could pull this off. If anything, I'll buy the hook, make it 3.5. And I'm going to take the Falcons. I think it's going to be a really good game. So give me the Falcons. Give me the over.
Sorry, man. I'm having a 7-year-old who just doesn't like to listen. I'm taking the Falcons here. Listen, Kansas City does not look like world beaters this year. They look like they're having a Super Bowl hangover. They look like they are not running efficiently on either side of the ball, in my opinion. Travis Kelce, I guess this is going to be the typical for him now. He's going to have a average or below average regular season and then be a monster in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes playing like he always plays, not great fantasy wise, but he's winning games, right? And that's what's really important, not really the fantasy numbers, right? It's just W's and, going towards building his legacy of, trying to get on the top of the mountain and be the GOAT, right? So I feel like this is a trap game, right, for the Chiefs. I think they are, a favorite. They're going to go into Atlanta and think this is the same old Atlanta. And I think Atlanta's going to show them that this is where Atlanta shows that they're a contender, right? So let's see how it goes tonight, but I think that Atlanta wins this game, and I don't think it's a close game. The Chiefs have just not impressed me this year so far.
Drew was saying on the Blitz that you got to get Kyle Pitts to do something. I mean, you got to involve him in your offense. You spend too high of a pick on him, period. Talented player. I mean, why? Like, what's the issue?
Listen, you got to spread the ball around. I mean, they got guys. You got Bijan. You got Drake London. You got Pitts. And now Darryl Mooney's a good player, man. So now he's involved. So and they got to spread the ball around. So I think Cousins is just going to get it to who's open,
Two Monday night games this week. First and foremost, the Jags try to get off the 0-3. Gets the Bills. That's tough. Bills laying 5, 45.5 is the number. ETN needs 2 touchdowns to be just the third Jacksonville running back to have 20 touchdowns before age 26. You know the other 2 without me having to tell you who they are. For the Bills, Josh Allen has 0 interceptions through 2 games for the first time since 2020. Looks like, I feel like it's like, Happy learned how to putt. It's like Josh Allen learned how to throw a football without getting it intercepted, and that's not good for the opponent. Look, I'm a Trevor guy. I understand that Alex is on the other side of that coin. That's okay. This is just a tough spot to avoid 0-3. You had to win last week and you didn't. It is what it is. They're off. It's a very hard start to their schedule, in my opinion, to have their first 2 road games be in Miami and in Buffalo, but that is what it is. It'll get a little better later on. Buffalo should win, and Buffalo, frankly, I think wins this game 27-20 is the number. It's right above the over.
Oh man, you're thinking the Jaguars are going to put up 20 against this defense? That's cute. No, listen, I think that the Bills figured out, you saw towards the end of the year, right? Let's pound the rock with Cook. He's a more than capable back. Let's limit the chances for Josh to make a mistake because he's prone to do it, kind of like a little bit of Brett Favre in him, right? He's a gunslinger, right? Josh Allen is doing what we all thought he would do earlier than this, right? He's cutting down the mistakes. He looks like what we thought, top 3, top 5 quarterback in NFL. I think that they keep it rolling, and I think this is like an absolute blowout. I think this is probably like 35-10, 35-13, something like that. Like, I think Buffalo goes in here and just lamb blasts the Jaguars.
I think the Jags cover the 5. I think the Bills are going to win, but I think it's going to be a close game. I'm concerned about this Bills defense. How far they always seem banged up. They always got guys hurt. How far could this defense hold on, and then for their offense to play like they want to play, running the ball, more Josh Allen, dinking and dunking, running also. So I'm going to roll with the Bills. I don't think the Jags have enough right now.
I think we're all going to pick the Bengals to win this game. I think the only question is if they're going to cover the 7. The Bengals looked a lot better last week. Washington scored on almost 60% of their drive. Now, a lot of field goals, obviously. That's the third best in the NFL. Burrow is much better against the NFC than the AFC. Read into that what you will. But the Bengals are going to win this game. They're going to get their first win of the year. The question, do they cover the 7? I think they probably do. It feels like a 10 to 12 point win for me.
Yeah, this has got to be a get right for the Bengals. Burrow's got to come out. I think they got to look sharp. They got to establish some kind of running game. They did show life last week, so it gives me some optimism on the Bengals. Yeah, I'd probably buy the point down. Give me the Bengals a 6.5. I heard both Higgins and Chase will be back together, so look for their numbers to go up. So. Yeah, give me the Bengals.
This is the right team to play at the right time for the Bengals. I think they get off the loser schneid here, and it is very fortuitous for Higgins to be back. I think Chase and Burrow start to look like what we thought they would be at the beginning of this year, and I think the Bengals cover the 7 for sure. That's it.
And that takes us through week 3. So
right on the dot, Brian.
We got you right before kickoff. That was the plan the whole time. It was never in question. we always get there. On behalf of Drew, who left a little early, Alex, thank you for joining us today. Anthony, myself, make it a profitable week 3. Enjoy your week 3. Watch that preseason hockey later today if you happen to catch it there. And we'll catch you all next week. Take care.
See you.